Strassman is an evil bastard. Strassman is the devil. Strassman is Beelzebub himself. Strassman is my dentist. I know you might find it hard to believe, but when I was young, up until the age of 16, I liked dentists. I liked Strassman. Strassman was cool back then. He was the same age as my dad, but he knew that Aerosmith was not the name of a refrigerator. He knew that Lotus isn't just the name of a flower. Strassman knew what being a teenager was like. And I trusted Strassman. I didn't get to talk much when I visited him. That's kind of hard to do when you're lying down with a pneumatic drill in your mouth. Still, I liked the way he thought. Here was a grown-up who gave me hope that there was a way to turn 40 without turning old. But I was 16 back then. That's what you do when you're 16. You hope. Now I was hoping death would come quickly. Strassman is excavating my second molar, and I can feel the pressure of his whole body on me. The pain is excruciating. Even Ava, Strassman's assistant, had to step out of the room, no doubt unable to witness my suffering. I'm about to pass out when Strassman says, "I heard from Nellie this weekend. She and Edward are going to Acapulco next week. Just like that. Things were different back in my time. I had to work like a dog to put food on the table. But Nellie's got it made. She says Edward is the highest paid partner in the firm." This is Strassman's gift. He's the only man I know who can inflict both physical and emotional pain at the same time, driving a drill down my nerve while ripping my heart out. And for what? For one blowjob? We never planned to get caught. Whoever does when they're having sex. But we were young and reckless and drunk. The Strassmans were away for the weekend, and I decided to invite myself over to Nellie's. I finagled an invitation to come and see her by claiming that I knew how to cook Italian food. Nellie knew I'd never been as much as close to Little Italy, let alone the country itself, but that didn't seem to stop her from fantasizing that a bona fide Sicilian was going to cook her dinner. Of course, we didn't get past the appetizer. In fact, there was no appetizer, just a bottle of Chianti and a copious amount of groping. I didn't know how far I was going to get with Nellie. We'd only been dating for a few weeks, and frankly, our generation wasn't the most sexually active. So it was quite surprising that halfway through the bottle, Nellie moved her hand to my pants. Her mouth didn't take much time to follow. Seeing Nellie go down on me in Mr. and Mrs. Strassman's kitchen was the most amazing scene I had ever seen up to that point in my life. That is, if you don't take into account the scene that immediately followed, in which Mr. and Mrs. Strassman suddenly materialized in the kitchen. I'm not sure where they came from. Neither of us had heard them come into the house a good 4 hours after they were supposed to be well on their way to the Catskills. I saw them first. The look on Mr. Strassman's face was one of hope. I could see how, despite his surprise, he genuinely hoped that this wasn't his daughter kneeling in front of me. The fact that Nellie noticed that something was wrong and pulled away from me, turning her head towards her parents and exposing my fully erect penis for all to see, sealed my fate for years to come. Not a lot was said between Mr. Strassman and myself after that incident. In fact, we never talked about it. But from that day, I learned a lot about pain. When I think about it, there's no good explanation why I continued to see Strassman as my dentist. I guess I felt bad about what happened and figured it would be awkward if I suddenly switched dentists. It did take me 2 years before I returned to his clinic, but by then I was 18 and out of school, and I'd almost forgotten about the incident with his daughter. Strassman, as I soon discovered, had the memory of an elephant. He also had the mind of a strategist, which explains why I've been coming back to Strassman every month or so for the past 20 years. Every treatment plants the seed for the next one, in a series of non-ending oral complications. That's what I say to all the kids I treat, right, Ava? Right, Mr. Strassman, Ava yells from the room next door. Watch what you put in your mouth. Strassman smiles and leans harder.